Talk a little bit about the hair salon business for anyone who may be tuned in to this in regards to what does it really take to actually get into starting your own hair salon business? Like, what's that process like? What are some of the challenges or pitfalls you may have had with it? Of course, some of the successes as well with it, and talk a little bit about that.
So one thing I have to say is you do have to work your plan backwards. And backwards meaning like, because I remember one time I had created like 3 different lists for myself.
Okay.
Because I'm one, because I'm also a female. We like to shop. We go all in, and later we like, ooh, some of this stuff either got to go back or I didn't need this. How we do. Right,
exactly.
But you can't do that when it comes to business because you'll end up wasting a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that, really. Of course, you take risks, but you don't want to waste your money.
Right.
And so at one point in time, I made 3 different lists for myself. I made a list of what I wanted my business to be, what I wanted to look like, and everything I would need for it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Then I made a list of everything. It was a list of what I wanted to look like and what I overall wanted. Then I made a list of everything that I wanted, like for that, and then everything that I needed at that moment in time for where I was at in business.
Okay.
So basically like a big, small, a big, medium, and then a smaller list of what I need right now to at least get me to these next steps. Right?
Gotcha.
And so I was able to, find places to get the salon equipment that I needed, which coming into that, it makes you respect people that do already have certain things in place. Like, that's why I do have a lot of respect for Maureen with having a storefront, because when people have large businesses or are on a different scale than you are, they make it look easy. It's not that simple.
Right. I already know.
And you do have to build up. And a lot of times, people say it all the time. We catch people when they're at their glory.
Right, exactly.
Or what we see their glory. We don't know the guts and the grit that it took to get to that point.
The story, exactly.
Exactly, or the story.
Yep.
Right. And so when I actually started on a small scale of what I needed, because of course at first I wanted 5 hair dryers. I want all these stations, but I'm in a suite. And actually the suite's probably my first one was the size of this room, literally. It was a nice size.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, I just need what I know I need.
Yeah.
And that's it to start me off.
Right.
And so with time, it was getting the proper products, still having, you have to remain a student all the time. Always remain a student. Like, even though you growing, you got your knowledge, even that's going to change.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you always learn new ways. And so I did eventually build up to opening my first storefront as well.
Yep.
I did open up the storefront. And now the challenges that I had with them, and that was because the flea market that I was at closed. And so, and I had already been putting it out there. I was like, I'm about to do a storefront. Like, now I feel as if I'm ready. Yeah. Yes, but no. So, so one of the, I don't like to look at it as a pitfall. It was, I still had to get a taste of the storefront to really see what I would want and would not want in the business as well.
Okay.
And so, one, storefronts are expensive. Okay. They're not your regular.
What's the range?
So I went from paying $500 a month at the flea market to $2,000 a month at the storefront.
Gotcha.
And that's also including me paying internet, because I needed internet. I had to have a security system, of course. I did have a young lady that was renting out a front area of my storefront because she did taxes, and she also had a good hair connect, or she also had bundles.
Okay.
And so it went hand in hand, which I met her at the flea market.
Gotcha.
And it did go hand in hand.
Yep.
And then I also had to get more stuff though too. So I also had to upgrade some stuff, and I had to get stations, and that's when I did expand. But the one thing I missed was making sure that I had the people to put into those places. Yeah. Like, I know my people are coming.
Right.
My people are definitely coming. But it's also getting the people that also I would want in those places, because no matter how much I wanted people in those places, I still wasn't going to put nobody in there. because of the work I did put into growth to get to this point.
Yeah.
I still just can't put anybody in here. I have to still trust you. You know, I still have to make sure that, one, you are licensed. You know, and it made me realize how many people are not licensed, but I don't judge them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when it came to working for me, I need you to be in this. Yeah, because you're coming under me as well. So you're still under my license.
Right.
So unless I know a person wanted to learn or was wanting to grow to a certain point, I would not allow them to come in there, to be honest. Because if you want to apprentice under me, that's fine because my license can hold that.
Right.
But if you're actually trying to do certain things like any type of chemical services and stuff, no, you can't come in here because you're under my business license.
Exactly.
So anything can happen.
Yep.
And so what happened as well with the storefront was I also didn't have the best landlord. And so a situation happened where the compressor in my ceiling was leaking. Well, not the compressor, but the air conditioner. The compressor was leaking, and it caused my ceiling to cave in.
Oh, wow.
And they wanted me to pay for it. And I was like, nah, we can't do this. And I was just like, well, you know, and this is me, because you never know until you ask and you get your no, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, can I take it out the rent? Like, how can we make this work? Because this is not a damage of my own.
All right, exactly.
And so long story short, it did not work out that way. And I did end up having to move. And so.
Where was this location at?
It was actually right down the street from the
flea market.
The flea market, still on Memorial Drive.
Yeah.
Right next door to the Walmart.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's on Memorial Drive. And actually,
Gotcha.
they just took my sign down. My sign was still up on the marquee until maybe, I think, say February of this year.
Oh, wow.
They just took it down.
Oh.
Because people would always call me, hey, where are you located? I'm like, baby,
marketing.
I'm in Midtown now. You know, I have upgraded.
Yeah.
And that was a part of the reason why I left too, because I was also tired of the people that was bringing in. They didn't want to pay my price. They always wanted to negotiate. They was bringing in. And I'm like, no, y'all. Like, I like to really put my stamp and my name on stuff.
Yeah. I
don't want you coming in here and, you know, I'm like, don't tell nobody I did your hair because I wouldn't use that kind of, like, you know. And I'm not shady like that, but I do understand people have their budget. Yeah. But it's still a way to do it, you know. Right. And also understand that you don't need to cut me short, though.
All right. You know? Exactly. It's business.
So exactly. So I did take that jump and move to Midtown, and that is honestly one step I've never regretted. Never. And that's why I don't feel as if the storefront was a pitfall, because it just made me realize too that me being on the scale of a suite was still cool. Yeah. You know, because I was really thriving. I was doing the best when I was in the suite. And so I'm still going to revisit the storefront, but it is going to look a lot different.